without further ado, let's go to Doug Miller on airbrushing on the cheek.
All right. There
Now,
we are.
Doug is not in uniform tonight. Y'all
Nope,
need to
nope.
understood. Okay.
I'm not turning anything, so I'm not in
Okay.
uniform. We started talking about this, and every once in a while airbrushing comes up. And some of y'all, excuse me while I blow some dust off. Some of y'all know what this is. It's a very simple little gizmo, and it's not real expensive. It was a little more than I thought it was when I went to buy it. You've seen the commercials about airbrushing your makeup on, ladies? That's what this is. It's a makeup airbrush machine. So it's got off and on with 3 levels of power, and I can't hardly tell between the medium and the high. I can't hardly tell the difference between them. Very simple, just a little like a 3x5 by 2.5 plastic box. The only color I've seen it in is pink. I'm sure it comes in other colors, and it comes with a airbrush. Not a good one. This is a single stage. You just simply pull it back. You push down and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't push down. I've had to clean it a couple of times where I've used acrylic paints and didn't clean it immediately. And so I had to come back and take it apart completely, dig out some paint and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to show you real quick. If I change my camera angle here, go to, nope, not that one. I want that one. No. There we go. This is a piece of 2x6 or whatever. It's very quiet. It's running right now. I don't know if you can hear it or not. One of the things that I've learned to do in doing some coloring, and Matt's done a lot of the same thing. Should have blown all this dust out before. But one of the things you can do if you want to bring out some grain, this pine doesn't have, I mean, it's got some basic grain, but I can see some ripple in it. So one of the things you can do, spray some black before you do. You know, you probably don't want it to be black, but that'll get you started. And I'll generally give that just a few seconds. By using an airbrush, it dries pretty quick. And so, because you're blowing air at the same time, you could use a paper towel, you could use a rag, you could use just a regular brush. But by using an airbrush, you have the opportunity to blow air at the same time. And because these are water-based stains that I'm using, I just drop a little bit of water. I'm spraying it into some sawdust that's underneath the lathe just to clean it out a bit. And while I'm doing that, it gives that time to dry. I'm going to follow that up with a couple of things. One, I'm going to sand that just a bit. Well, let's go ahead and dump the bulk of that. There we go. I'm going to come back and sand this just a touch. And sometimes people want to know, well, why would you bother putting it on if you're going to sand it right back off? Well, part of the reason is, especially in a piece that's been sanded nicely already, that dark stain is going to soak into the softer parts of the wood, not the harder parts. And it's going to leave some. Now, I would definitely go further than that. You can see it's sanded back a good bit, but I would go even further. I would take it to where there barely is any on there. And then just for our sake tonight, I'm going to blow on some, this is called Flame. It's kind of an orange. But you can see there, I've got a multicolor effect very quickly, very simply, that is hard to beat. Once that dries and I put a little finish on it, it'll bring the colors out even more. And so it'll be, you can kind of see, you can see some of the ripple going across. The grain is this direction. It's got some ripple going across that way. You don't see that in pine very often, but you got it in that piece. And that's brought out because of the black. But the whole point is the, there we go. The airbrush, this piece here, for about $40, you're into an airbrush instead of having to pipe in from your big compressor or buying an airbrush compressor, one of those little small ones, and getting your airbrushes. And those can be from $15 a piece up, you can spend several $100s on an airbrush. I got an airbrush and a compressor, $40. It's not perfect. It's not fantastic. I'm never going to be spray painting t-shirts on the beach with it. Nothing like that. But I can apply stains and dyes, what have you. I can even spray acrylic paints that are made for a airbrush without any problem. It does a great job, and it gets me started. Get you started if you want to. Any questions on that?
Hey, Doug, I got a suggestion.
Okay.
If you don't like that little pink box, just use that as your test every time you change paints on your airbrush, and you can change it to whatever you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've thought about even covering it up with Gorilla tape just to cover it.
What's wrong with pink? You can't pull off pink?
Oh, I've got an allergy. There's really nothing at all wrong with it. I just don't. It's not my favorite. Not my
But Doug,
favorite.
it looks so cute.
Well, that's one reason it sits up here on the shelf, and I never move it. That's the first time it's been
Y'all are
down since I
not
brought it
helping.
home.
Y'all are not helping poor Doug here and his allergy to pink.
Nah, not bothering me too bad.